Young Turks, Uygur, and Kasparian. Lovely day ahead for you guys. Donald Trump might be arrested soon. That's fun. Getting a little ahead of ourselves, or ahead of myself.
Do you want to take another bet?
No.
Okay.
Okay. No. I'm like, arrest is a bit much. Okay, but he could be if he was not president and did not have 50 million crazed people in the country back at him. He would be. If it was you, you would be arrested.
We don't appreciate embellishments on this show. Okay, no hyperbole. Let's not get our hopes up.
All right, I hear you. But I was talking to a progressive earlier today and convinced them that that there is actual factual basis for optimism. Interesting. By the way, how many House seats have the Democrats picked up so far? Oh, right, 38. Just like I said. It's almost as if my optimism is actually based on reality. I'm just saying, okay? So when I whisper of a dream, you could shout that from the rooftops. Whatever, let's move on. Okay, I'm in a weird mood. Okay, so guys, we're gonna have fun, and we also have disaster stories for you. We have an update on Avenatti that's fascinating. All right, anyways. But I wanted to update you guys on something we started yesterday. We started the Amplify program because we're crazy. And we decided, hey, you know what? Let's get our strong progressive voice out there to the rest of the media. Because what we're missing is what a lot of the other media has, which is a media multiplier effect. So we have these wonderful outlets that carry us, television, online platforms, et cetera. So that's great. But we wanted to make sure that we can get that message out to the mainstream media as well. So we started this program where you guys can basically buy membership for hosts that are on television and some others that are also in other forms of media, and their entire team, their producers, writers, guest bookers, et cetera. So in the first day, we put up Jake Tapper from CNN, to get him and his crew Young Turks membership, immediately gone. Jeff Yeary bought that, and I want to give a shout out to all the people who did that. So, and he gave $1,000. Anybody who gives $1,000 goes on a literal donor wall that we're going to do here, and gets a T-shirt. Anybody giving over $150 gets an exclusive TYT T-shirt for this. Then we put up CNN Reliable Sources program with Brian Stelter. Boom, Sean Christopher took that. And then PBS NewsHour and Binta Campbell took that one. Love it. And then All In with Chris Hayes to get the progressive message to MSNBC. Gone. That was an anonymous TYT donor that did that. And then Cuomo, Primetime, Chris Cuomo. Alex Wortmamp. Got that one. That was amazing. Thank you, Alex. That's $2,500. For $2,500, both the person who gave for Chris Hayes and the Cuomo show can actually name something in the studio. So we're going to tell you where you can go to name things in the studio soon. And of course, if you want to be anonymous, no problem at all. Just don't fill in your last name. After you do the whole transaction, there's another pop-up that comes. If you don't fill in your last name, then we don't say your name on air, and your call on whether you want to be on the donor wall or not. Okay, and then so since all those went, well, we started asking you guys, well, should we give it to conservatives too? Or in fact, you guys brought it up first. And so we did a poll. Should we also give Young Turks membership to Fox News hosts? You guys voted 76% yes. So boom, we put some Fox News hosts up. So now Laura Ingraham is up. That's $1,000, I believe. And then Tucker Carlson. And then we still have other mainstream media, CBS This Morning. Those morning shows actually go out to a lot of people. And Pod Save America, that's obviously a podcast. And they could use a progressive voice or two. And then Anderson Cooper on CNN. He of the asking Bernie Sanders, how are you going to pay for that? And are you really saying Hillary Clinton might have changed votes based on the money that she has received? So I think he could use a progressive message from time to time as well. And we're doing the numbers based on how many people we think are in their staff, our best guess, and then we do our best to deliver it to them. Word in, Laura Ingraham gone, already gone. Okay, so you guys are amazing. That is Vanessa Abreu. Vanessa, you are awesome. Thank you for getting the progressive message to Laura Ingraham. Could you imagine if she starts listening, or maybe her top writers and producers do, and they're like, well, Laura, on the other hand. Hey, listen, I had an interesting conversation with Tucker Carlson at Politicon, and he wound up saying some things we didn't expect and wound up having a little bit of an open mind. So you never know. But look, if those people start getting that message, it is because of Jeff, Sean, Binta, Alex, and Vanessa. And we have all the other folks still up there on tyt.com/amplify. So let's go get those. If you give under $1,000, we also read out your name and you get t-shirts for $150 above, etc. Speaking of shirts.
I have a surprise.
Yeah, you started changing in the middle. I'm like, what is
Let's
this?
go to the tight shot. Let's go to the tight shot. All right. Get your home of the progressive sweater at shoptyt.com.
Well, I do love Christmas. I don't know if I could wear a sweater. Oh, that was going too. Oh no, what is this? Our stage. Oh, get it! That is hilarious, man.
All right, so you can order now and get domestic orders here in the United States in time for Christmas. Okay, so who wouldn't want a giant sweater with Cenk's face on it?
I'm pretty sure that I'm the one who can't wear that. I don't think you could wear your own face on your body.
Oh, there's our control room. That's the crew behind the scenes that makes everything happen.
By the way, you could also, part of this campaign is you could name the control room. You could name the control room after yourself, and that is pretty badass.
That is badass.
So, and I should clarify too, as part of tyt.com/amplify, anyone that gives $50 or more, that's one membership basically, and you could choose any number of memberships up to the increment of $1,000. That goes to journalism students, influencing a whole new generation of media, and we've already started giving those out based on what you guys have given yesterday, and we'll continue to do that as we go forward. And then for the big ticket items past $5,000, you can name things in the studio. For example, this desk is named the Triptych desk after Adam Westbrook from a previous campaign. I'm sitting in the Nick Wilde chair, etc. But you guys, we're going to name new things, and for those, you can name the college of your choice, and we will send that amount of memberships that you purchased to that college for their students, okay? And then the right wing will cry and say we're indoctrinating them. So tyt.com/amplify. In fact, last thing here, guys, before we get to the stories, let me read quickly all the folks that have given. Andy Williams from New Jersey, which is perfect for the Christmas spirit that Andy Williams gave. Anyway, $150, you'll be getting a t-shirt. Jackie Colari from Massachusetts gave. Kaj Rankin from California. Alex Schmidt from Munich, Germany. Okay.
What? Fun.
I was about to say Auf Wiedersehen, but that means bye, so that doesn't make sense. Okay. Okay. Danke. Okay, there you go. That means thank you. Those are the two words I remember from 5 years of German. Okay, Brian Dugan from Omaha. Sumus Nimis Virus from Indianapolis. What a fun name. You get a t-shirt. Anonymous gets a t-shirt. Jimmy Utter from Dublin, t-shirt. Chase Miller from Chicago. Lenny Moore from Santa Rosa, t-shirt. Bruce Martin from Tempe, t-shirt. Kristen Germeroth from Oakland. Whoa, honor wall, $500. $500 gets you on the honor wall on TYT's website. Thank you, Kristen. Meg Perry from Smyrna, not Turkey, Smyrna, Georgia. And finally, of course, Vanessa Abreu that just gave $1,000 for Laura Ingraham. That went literally before we got on air. I was kidding around about this stuff. Okay, we put it up and it went immediately. So once you grab them, they're yours, man. You influence those people forever. And or at least for a year, as long as the membership lasts, and their teams. And it makes a giant difference. Thank you, guys. All right, Anna, what's the stories?
All right, we're gonna start off with something fun. There's a lot of serious news today, but I wanted to start off on a lighter note. I mean, we kind of already have.
Yeah, my face is on your sweater,
Yeah.
so we've started on a lighter note.
And let's keep it real. I really don't want to do a serious story while wearing the sweater, so we're gonna do a fun story, and then I'm gonna change. So let's move on.
How dare you?
How dare she?
Anna Kasparian.
A very provocative pro-Trump artist has put out his latest piece of art in case you're interested in purchasing either prints or the original for a family member or a loved one during the holidays. Now, John McNaughton is the name of the artist, and I want to show you what he has painted. Lots of symbolism here. There's Donald Trump, Mr. 45, with a red jersey, and he's playing football, I suppose, with bone spurs and everything. Running to make a touchdown, and he's, I don't know, what do you call it when you pass all the other people in the team, opposing team? That's not a tackle. That's like an interception. No, that's not an interception.
None of those things. He's just scoring. That's all that's happening.
Okay, so he's scoring. And all of those other guys, even though most of them seem unrecognizable, are Democratic politicians. So let me give you the list of people included in this. There is Senator Cory Booker, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio, former Vice President Joe Biden, former President Barack Obama, Bernie Sanders is in there, Senator Richard Blumenthal is in there, Chuck Schumer, Senator Dick Durbin. So basically all of the big name Democrats are involved in the painting.
I think I see Chuck Schumer, and I think Obama's the one lying on the ground.
Yes, Obama is the one lying on the ground.
Okay, yeah, that's not an accident, as you'll find out more about this guy.
Yes, so let me tell you more about this guy. His previous works include similar messaging. Let's go to graphic 18. His previous political works include a painting of Obama burning the US Constitution and one titled, "Liberalism is a Disease." Okay, let's stop for a second. You're telling me that the guy who tried to prosecute his political opponents is the one upholding the US Constitution? We reported on a story yesterday, it was a breaking story yesterday, regarding how Donald Trump wants to literally prosecute Hillary Clinton and James Comey. But Obama's the one who's destroying the Constitution. Anyway, let's give you some more on this guy. He was quoted as saying, when they played football in the old days, they didn't have face masks. It was a time of blood, guts, and glory. Today's politics are rough. You have to push hard for everything you get. The field is muddy and the players can get dirty, but we have a president that has risen above the rest.
Yeah.
The other side hates him and will do anything to destroy him. Try to take him down, think again. He's going for the goal, another touchdown, score.
Is this guy European? What do you mean going for the goal? Does John McNaughton live here? Okay. I mean, I guess you could call it a goal, but it's, so what does Marco Rubio say? Oh, we went for a 3-point kick. Yeah, that's called a field goal, Marco, okay? So
that's awesome.
These guys, they all pretend to be tough guys. They don't know anything. The other day, Donald Trump misspelled Marine Corps in a tweet. It's embarrassing. You claim to be for the troops, and if a Democrat had done that, they'd be like, how dare he misspelling Marine Corps? They don't love our troops.
I mean, misspellings, that's one thing, but what Trump has actually done and the way that he's mocked military members who have voiced their concerns about him and his presidency, I would argue that's worse. I mean, he had the nerve to go after the admiral, the Navy admiral who had, he was the one who oversaw the takedown of Osama bin Laden. Now, Admiral McRaven, I'm not judging, I'm not talking about anything else that he's done in his career. I'm specifically talking about what he did in taking down Osama bin Laden, or at least overseeing the raid that took him down. And to criticize him simply because he's not a fan of yours is ridiculous, but that's who Trump is. One other quick thing I wanted to mention is, look, this artwork is, it's a political statement, but it's also a bit of a fantasy. And why do I say that? Well, it shows Donald Trump in this athletic moment. And fantasy is one thing, but I do want to give you a little taste of reality. So, all right, so there's the fantasy, there's Trump in this painting looking like a real athlete. And then here's what he looks like when he tries to be an athlete in real life. Let's go to graphic 19. 19. Okay, so.
Oh, well, we tried.
All right.
Okay. So now a couple of things I have to say here at the end. One, I like that he said he's risen above the rest. What do you mean risen above the rest? He's the one dragged everybody down in the mud in the first place. I mean, they really live in an alternate universe where Trump's not dirty. The people that are opposed to him are dirty. The guy who said she's bleeding from wherever, the guy who said, I prefer people who weren't captured about John McCain. And so another story from yesterday was inside source in the White House saying that he will not go to visit war zones, and he hasn't gone for 2 years now. And it's because he is literally afraid. He's afraid for his life, and he's afraid they're gonna try to kill him and won't go. That's the tough guy who's beating all the other ones in football and is all heroic. No, the guy's a literal coward. He ran from Vietnam because he claimed he had bone spurs. And so a lot of people criticize his painting. I don't actually have a problem with the painting. So look, we got paintings on our side. Jim Carrey does all these wonderful cartoons that the other side find offensive. I find greatly amusing and interesting and artistic. And you know, some people said this looks like propaganda straight out of North Korea. No, he just likes the guy. So he's a Trump supporter. I don't care. I don't mind that at all.
We're having fun. I don't care either. I mean, I'm amused by it. It's entertaining. He entertained me. That was the picture that I was looking for. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, boy, he looks tough.
He has risen above the rest.
Yeah. Oh boy.
The only thing that's risen in that picture is those tidy whities up his ass. Let's keep it real.
That's what happened. So look, this guy John McNaughton likes him. We don't like him. That's not important. I like though somebody on Twitter said, "Is he grimacing in the picture because of the bone spurs?" Remember, he couldn't remember which foot he theoretically had them in. Okay, hilarious. Anyway, but it does give you, a picture is worth 1,000 words in that sense. It gives you a sense of the reality that Trump supporters live in. In their reality, Trump is heroic and courageous. And while people are trying to drag him down in the mud, he just won't do it. Man, we live on totally different planets.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and to be fair, you know, it's interesting artwork. We have our own artwork here, and I'm not sure ours is any better. Yes, that is in fact me on Anna's sweatshirt, which you can get at shoptyt.com in time for the holidays.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? As Santa there, I have risen above the rest in my sleigh, led by a person with a red nose.
Yeah.
Or creature with a red nose. Anyway, okay, we're done?
We're done. We're gonna take a break. I'm gonna take this off.
Yeah, and you know, I was wondering why we were going with the McNaughton story first.
Yeah.
Now I totally get it.
I'm always thinking,
I got you, Casper, I got you. All right, you know what? One of the things we'll do when we come back, there's the disastrous stories about Saudi Arabia, but there's also a fun thing that a member wrote that you'll definitely enjoy. Just trust me, we'll come back and give it to you. We hope you're enjoying this free clip from the Young Turks. If you want to get the whole show and more exclusive content while supporting independent media, become a member at tyt.com/join today. In the meantime, enjoy this free segment. All right, back on the Young Turks, tyt.com/amplify rolls on. Austin Booth from Oklahoma City, the progressive Cajun Kevin Griffin from Louisiana. You get a t-shirt, thank you, Kevin, appreciate it. And then this is the member comment that I promised you. Dylan, this wise ass on tyt.com, left a comment in the member section saying about our program to name different things in the studio. If I had $20,000 just lying around to donate, I would totally rename Cenk's office, because you can actually. You can name my office, and that price tag I think is $20,000. It's of course to help the show and spread the message to college students, but we're also trying to do more for you guys. So renaming things in the studio, and you get to rename my office. So he said, if I had it, I would totally rename Cenk's office to Anna's office. And then he added, LOL.
Yes.
Dylan, does it look like? Does it look like I'm LOLing?
Dylan, I hope one day you make a killing. Buy up Cenk. Yes. Those horns always get me excited.
Yeah. That would be really funny though. If it was like every day I would walk into my office and it said something like John Iadarolla's office.
No, forget John. He mentioned me. Okay. No, but like if my name is on it, then isn't it my office? Like I would just take it.
Agree to disagree, but that's going to be a fascinating fight. Okay, all right, well, anyway, let's hope we have that problem. Okay, by the way, so since Laura Ingram's gone, we filled her in. That fifth slot was someone else. Guess who's up next in tyt.com/amplify? The View. Well, they could use some Young Turks membership. Get them caught up on what's going on in the progressive world. Look, they got a giant staff at The View, so that one's a little expensive. That one's $5,000, but you also get to name one of the cameras or something along those lines and on our wall, et cetera. All right, last couple of comments here. Matt Strackbein says, I can't say enough how impressive I think that tyt.com/amplify is already this successful. And in the first 24 hours, just a brilliant idea. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that on behalf of all of us. Tannen Kosol says on Twitter, if you look closely at McNaughton's painting, his red shirt teammates are way behind on the field. It's because 45 is scoring on the wrong side of the field. Well, let's take a look at that again. That would be hilarious if that was the case, like if he'd screwed it up. I don't think so, but it's a really funny idea. If he accidentally went in the wrong direction, and the Democrats would probably try to stop him, so that part would be accurate. No, please, let's help you go in the right direction. Anyway, and then Pepper Window also said Trump looks stupid as hell in that pic. He said, I didn't think it was meant to be pro-Trump. I thought it was made to be sarcastic.
Yeah, he looks like he just let one rip. Like, he has a look on his face. He's disgusted by it.
But that kind of like weird angry face is what turns on Republicans. So they probably can't wait to buy that. All right, Casper, what's next?
A day following Donald Trump's statement supporting Saudi Arabia and making it abundantly clear that the United States will remain an ally to Saudi Arabia even after the murder of a Washington Post journalist named Jamal Khashoggi, Donald Trump is now thanking Saudi Arabia specifically for lower oil prices. Now, he had tweeted about this, writing, oil prices getting lower, great, like a big tax cut for America and the world. Enjoy, $54 was just $82. Thank you to Saudi Arabia, but let's go lower. Now, let's do a little bit of fact checking before we get into the broader issue here, which is his undying support for Saudi Arabia. The national average price of gasoline was $2.62 per gallon Monday, and that's according to AAA. That's actually the highest since 2014.
Oops.
Yeah, so not lower. Also, Trump's tweet actually compared two different oil price benchmarks. So West Texas Intermediate crude oil, a United States benchmark, closed in trading at about $54. Brent crude, an international benchmark, was at $82. As recent as October, Brent has recently traded at an about $11 premium to West Texas Intermediate.
But I'm sure Trump knew all that.
Yeah, doesn't know anything. And it's going to be even clearer in the video that you're about to watch.
It's all about, for me, very simple. It's America first. Saudi Arabia, if we broke with them, I think your oil prices would go through the roof. I've kept them down. They've helped me keep them down. Right now we have low oil prices, or relatively. I'd like to see it go down even lower. And I'm not going to tell a country that's spending hundreds of billions of dollars and has helped me do one thing very importantly, keep oil prices down so that they're not going to $100 and $150 a barrel. Right now, we have oil prices in great shape. I'm not going to destroy the world economy, and I'm not going to destroy the economy for our country by being foolish with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is probably the second biggest oil producer. They've worked with us very well. We've kept oil prices down. If you want to see oil prices go to $150 a barrel, like, by the way, Russia would love to see that, all you have to do is break up our relationship with Saudi Arabia.
So Saudi Arabia, contrary to what Trump said in that clip, is the third largest oil producer behind the United States and Russia.
You would think that a guy who said America first would know that America's actually first in that category.
Right.
We're not first in a lot of categories that they pretend we're first in, like healthcare. We vary between 27 and 37 in the world. But in production of oil, we're number one. But he doesn't know that. He thinks, oh no, it's all the Saudis.
Well, Rand Paul had some strong words for Trump, and I want to give you those words. He says the president indicates that Saudi Arabia is the lesser of two evils compared to Iran, and so the U.S. won't punish Saudi Arabia for the brutal killing and dismemberment of a dissident journalist in their consulate. I disagree. I'm pretty sure this statement is Saudi Arabia first, not America first.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, but Republicans are all talk. Rand Paul, for all of his strong language, especially in regard to his opposition to foreign policy carried out by Republicans like Trump, he still goes ahead and votes with Trump the vast majority of the time.
Yeah. So a little bit more on the substance here. So for a little while, when Obama was president early on, Fox News went on a rant about how the gas prices were too high and it was Obama's fault. And then they dropped precipitously, and for a great number of reasons, some having to do with Obama, but a lot not having to do with Obama. It's just geopolitical circumstances and other factors that go into oil prices. And what's curious is that Fox News and the Republicans did not come back out and go, well, the gas prices are way lower now under Obama, so I guess it's because of him. Congratulations to Obama. No, it's preposterous. So the gas prices have been very high under Donald Trump. So did Fox News and the Republicans go, hey, man, Donald Trump is really screwing this up. Gas prices are way too high. No, the minute they drop a little bit, and crude is different than gas prices that you're paying at the pump, so it might take a little while, et cetera. So crude prices drop a little bit while gas prices are still high. And when they do, they're like, aha, you see that? It was because of Trump. Well, why didn't he do it 2 years earlier, or a year and a half earlier, a year earlier? Why did he wait? Because it really doesn't have much to do with the president. So you can't give credit or fault much to Obama or Trump. But the way that they use it politically is preposterous. And it's for people who don't know anything and don't even think it through. They're like, wait, didn't I pay really low gas prices under Obama? Right. Like they just never think of anything. And they just like, oh, okay, there was that one moment on Obama when there was high gas prices. It's his fault. Okay, now the gas prices have been way higher under Trump, generally speaking, but it's somehow not Donald Trump's fault.
Well, it's funny because I think that a lot of Americans, based on the way gas prices have been covered by the media, will blame the president, which is why Trump does care a lot about the gas prices. He also cares a lot about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates because that does lower the markets. The markets fluctuate a lot more when that happens. And so Trump doesn't want to be blamed for any of that. Now, with that said, though, I just want to make a point about how I don't want the United States to be, dragged through the mud or I don't want us. Look, for lack of a better word, I don't want to be any other country's bitch. And right now, that is what we are in regard to Saudi Arabia because of this oil dependency.
In fact, that's literally what Tulsi Gabbard just said in a speech today.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, as she said, Trump has become Saudi Arabia's bitch. Now, that's a pretty strong statement from a United States Congresswoman, but then Tulsi Gabbard's pretty strong.
Absolutely. So wouldn't it be much better if we were self-reliant and we focused more on developing renewable energy sources as opposed to doing whatever the Saudi royals want us to do?
So which leads me to my final point. They said that Obama went on an apology tour throughout the world. I mean, here's this Trump now, after this fundamentalist government decapitates and dismembers journalists living in the US, thanks them.
Yep.
Point number two about that, isn't this in some sense negotiating with terrorists?
Absolutely.
He's saying, wait a minute, we'd have higher oil prices, we'd have to pay more, and I don't want to pay more, so I'll let these guys behead anyone they like.
It's actually worse than that because there was no negotiation. He didn't even negotiate. It's immediate concession. It's immediate excuses for the Saudis after they've committed a horrible crime.
Yeah, so this is the strong leader you like? So instead of protecting people who live here in America, he allows a Muslim fundamentalist government that's dictatorial and has an insane, strict fundamentalist view of Islam to dismember people, and then says to them, thank you for helping us with lower oil prices. And by the way, Saudi Arabia does affect oil prices to some degree, but they're not the sole people who control oil prices. It's a giant worldwide market with a confluence of events that go into it. But this simpleton thinks, oh yeah, that's okay. I let them dismember the guy, and that's why our prices are lower. It's both stupid and immoral.
I just want to also quickly mention that there is a bipartisan effort in the Senate to get Donald Trump to admit that Jamal Khashoggi was murdered, and that murder was ordered by the Saudi crown prince. Now, Bob Corker is one of the authors of that legislation, and they're citing the Magnitsky Act in order to do this. So under the act, Trump can be required to make a determination about human rights violations by global leaders. The law requires the president to do so within 120 days of the committee's request, as well as apply any sanctions. So this is the second time that senators have pushed for this. Because of the first time that they did it, or in response to the first time they did this, the Trump administration imposed sanctions on 17 Saudis. Now, that was before the CIA released their report indicating that the Saudi crown prince was likely the one who ordered this murder.
Yeah, Corker's on his way out. So these are, like you say all the time, Anna, nice, interesting shots that are verbal. But look, the Magnitsky Act could have real consequences, but the Republicans would have to follow through and actually make him do it. And we'll see if they wind up doing that next year. Well, they still control the Senate. In fact, they control the Senate more now than they did before. So we'll see.
All right, moving on. For the first time in decades, the White House Correspondents' Dinner will not feature a comedian. Maybe the Trump administration doesn't want to have a comedian because of what happened last year.
I actually really like Sarah. I think she's very resourceful. Like, she burns facts and then she uses that ash to create a perfect smoky eye. Like, maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's lies. It's probably lies. And I'm never really sure what to call Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Is it Sarah Sanders? Is it Sarah Huckabee Sanders? Is it cousin Huckabee? Is it Auntie Huckabee Sanders? Like, what's Uncle Tom but for white women who disappoint other white women?
That one stung.
Yeah.
That one's gonna leave a mark. And it did leave a mark, as you're about to find out.
Yes, it left a mark. And so Trump had tweeted just recently about how the White House Correspondents' Dinner will have a historian and author as opposed to a comedian. Trump saying that she bombed so badly last year, meaning Michelle Wolf, and that the White House Correspondents' decision to tap a biographer, Ron Chernow, author of biographies on Alexander Hamilton and George Washington, is a, quote, good first step. So that's what Trump had tweeted about. And then Michelle Wolf actually responded to it saying the following: I bet you'd be on my side if I had killed a journalist. Hashtag be best.
Damn, that one's also gonna leave a mark.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't want to place all the blame on the Trump administration, although they are certainly special snowflakes. The media played a role in scrapping comedians as well. And I want to give you examples of what some of these journalists had said. So let's go to graphic 11. Several major news organizations, according to the Washington Post, including Politico and the Washington Post, told White House Correspondents Association board members that they preferred to do away with the comedian as the evening's entertainer. Okay, so Fred Ryan, a Washington Post publisher, said the event should be about the journalists. It shouldn't be about cutting humor, but about journalism. Okay.
Oh, they don't like that. So this is a little bit about Donald Trump, and it's giving in to his bullying tactics. So the press should be really proud about that. And he says, this time I might come. You should rethink that. The guy that they invited is an expert on First Amendment. He's a historian about that and going to give a speech about that. My guess is that's not going to turn out well for you. Again, you're not bright enough to realize that. But in terms of why they cut comedians in the first place, it's at least half because they're snowflakes too. They didn't like being made fun of. And so it got awkward for them. And look, in a lot of ways, Stephen Colbert started this in his brilliant monologue at the White House Correspondents dinner a while back. So many great lines in that, but the one that's really stuck that I've heard over and over again since that is when he said, well, reality has a well-known liberal bias. And boy, did that prove to be true, certainly in the Trump years as well. And then Larry Wilmore cut him pretty deep, and they didn't like that. And then Michelle Wolf came in and finished them off. And they pretty much admitted here in the quote that Anna read for you, saying like, it shouldn't be about cutting humor, but about journalism. In other words, don't hit us either. We don't like that. And that's the whole point of comics. And by the way, they wouldn't be as necessary if you guys did your jobs better. And if you were real watchdogs, well, then you would be the ones aggressively challenging the government. The reason why the comedians stand out when they go to this thing is because they actually do truth-telling more than the reporters do, and it makes the powerful in Washington uncomfortable. That's why the audience likes it and you hate it.
Yeah, so if you feel insecure about the truth, then it's hard to have a sense of humor when someone's performing a stand-up and you're part of it. I just, look, and this is something this is an argument that applies to everyone, regardless of political affiliation. The pressure to censor comedy is crazy. We need to all calm down, okay? Both on the left and the right. Comedy should not be censored. It is a form of expression, it's a form of speech. Is comedy sometimes offensive? Yes. Does it make you uncomfortable? Yes. Now for me, good comedy is when the comedian punches up. If a comedian goes up there and they start attacking or making jokes about someone who's in a powerless position, vulnerable groups of people, if that's what the comedy is about, then for me personally, I don't find that funny. But I don't want to go out there and censor it or end it. You see what I'm saying?
So look, everything has a line, right? You can draw the line, but you draw the line at different places for different things. So for comedy, the line is really far out there, or should be really far out there. Can you still cross it? Yes. Famously, Michael Richards just yelling the N-word for no reason, not remotely related to humor, was weird and crossed the line. But you got to go all the way out there to cross it. Otherwise, hey, and look, right wing, do they have bad humor that's offensive? Of course they do. But overall, I don't care about that. You do you, okay? And get those people like, yeah, way to punch down on people who have no power. That's really funny. And that's your call, buddy. We're not going to get into judging comedy in that sense.
We'll judge it, but I'm not interested in censoring it. That's what I'm trying
of course, and that's a giant difference.
I like judging, like that's fun.
That's a whole different thing. But Michelle Wolf sent out one more tweet that I thought was exactly right here. She said that the Correspondents Association are, quote, cowards, saying the media is complicit, and I couldn't be prouder. That's true, and a lot of folks basically accidentally confirmed it. Look, these are not bad people. Frank Sesno was on CNN. He's now George Washington University School of Media and Public Affairs. He heads that program. He's a good guy and he tries hard. But he said here, frankly, people don't want to put on a tux and come out on a Saturday night to get lectured to. In other words, we don't like it when you criticize us. If you kept it to light criticism of the government, then everybody's having fun, right? Keep it light. Wilmore was too tough. Wolf was too tough. We didn't like that. We don't want to put on a tux and then get made fun of. So we're going to have dry lectures going forward.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. See if anybody watches too.
Definition of first world problems. I don't want to put on a tux and go to a fancy dinner and be lectured to. Oh, is your life tough? All right, anyway, let's take a break. When we come back, could Trump get indicted for attempting to prosecute Hillary Clinton, James Comey, his political enemies? We'll see.
That's a real question. So let's tackle it when we get back.